This should be fairly simple, and I believe anyone of any skill can make these. And if you don't have a sewing machine, if you have a needle and thread, you should be just fine. So let's get to it. I'm going to show you the materials you need, the tools you need, and how to make it. Let's do it. Okay, first things first, you need 100% cotton fabric. If you don't have fabric on hand, you could always cut up an old cotton button-down shirt, men's button-down shirt. If you have a rotary cutter, it will serve you well. If not, scissors will do, but you will need scissors regardless, so scissors. Pins. You will need elastic. If you cannot find elastic, which I've heard is kind of the problem right now, you can use bias tape or ribbon or anything that will tie behind your head instead of elastic around the ears. An ironing board, an iron, and a sewing machine or a needle and thread. Next up, you will want to make a template. I just cut up a piece of paper that is 6 inches by 9 inches. And then on one side I wrote fold, just to remind me to place it on the fold when I go to cut. So let's start with cutting our material first. You are going to fold to where your template will fit on the fold. This will make 2 masks because your fabric is doubled up. If you happen to let it out, then obviously it would just make 1 mask. If you don't have a cutting mat and you just plan to draw on your lines and cut with scissors, that will do too. So you will just cut the perimeter of this template. Okay, so once your fabric is cut, open it up and it should look like this big rectangle. At this point, I serge the edges so that your edge will not fray. Since we are leaving an open pocket on this, the shorter edge, I always serge those edges so that they won't fray. However, most of you won't have a serger at home, in which case you can use a zigzag stitch and secure the end. If you don't feel like doing that and you don't want this mask to last through a ton of washes, then don't worry about sealing the edge at all. You can also use fray stop, which is another option that's easy, and if you have it on hand, it makes it simple. But it's helpful, not necessary, but I'm going to serge this edge. And we are ready for elastic. The other thing that's good to do on your template is create a 7-inch measurement. That way you only have to have your template out and you don't need to leave this out. So 7 inches. And then just make yourself a note on the template that it's for the elastic. Time to cut your elastic. So you can measure it up with that line, carry it to the end, and snip. And then I just double up. Make sure it's the whole length. Oops. Okay, so you have 2 pieces of elastic, which is what you will need for this. These are for the around the ears. Now at this point, you want to flip your fabric over. You can press it, which makes it a little bit easier to place your elastic. Now that it is pressed with the right sides together, you're ready to pin your elastic in place. Okay, so open it up. You want to lay your elastic pretty close to the edge, and oops, flip this back up and pin in place. Like so. Then you'll want to straighten this out to make sure it is the most comfortable. You don't want it to twist. And I put it about a 1/4 inch from the edge where we serged. And then line these up again, make sure that this is going to sew flat and pin. Okay. Do the same on the other side. At this point, everything is pinned in place and ready to sew. But before you sew, you want to mark your 2 lines where we are going to leave open and not sew across. I tend to leave 3 inches in the middle, and so another fun tip is to, with your template, you can mark those spots on your template. So once you hold it back up together, so I marked the 3 inch and the 6 inch, and this will be my pocket to slip a filter in. And then I just lined it up with the edge of my fabric and mark 2 spots where I will stop sewing and I will backstitch. Okay, I'm gonna sew this up and show you how to finish it. At this point, I've sewn around the entire edge. I obviously let my foot up here and the needle up, and I placed it back here, backstitching both places, both marks. Okay, cut this string. I'm gonna cut the string on the back, and then all the other strings that are hanging off. And if you need to cut some of the edge, you can do that. And then once you've cut it, we will find our pocket that we created and we will flip it inside out. So once this is flipped out, I always take my scissors closed, I slip it in the pocket, and then I push out each corner just so that it's crisp. So I do that in each of the corners. And then you can press this, and I will show you how to pleat it after I press it. Okay, so now that it's all pressed, we want to mark where our pleats are going to go. So I mark, oops, 1 inch from the bottom, an inch from the top, and then I like to mark the center point. Okay, so once we have those marked, we take that inch from the bottom mark, kind of bend it and press it down on the center. And the top one, we're gonna do the same to kind of meet in the middle. So this we'll take and meet it in the middle with the other one. So this is the back, should look like this. This is the front, the pleats should look like this. Let's do the same on the other side. All right, so this is what it should look like. Once you press it down, this is what it should look like. Here it is, all pressed and ready to be sewn. So now I will take it to the sewing machine and I'm going to stitch just this edge and this edge, and then I will meet you back here to show you the finished product. All right, it's all stitched and ready to go. Now just obviously snip your threads. Your mask is ready to go at this point, and you have a pocket in the top that will allow for a filter to be inserted. Moment of truth, y'all. Maybe don't wear big earrings. Ta-da! It works. All right, if you end up using this tutorial, send me a picture. I would love to see what you create, and stay home, stay safe, but if you have to go out, wear a mask.